Salvador de Bahia is a beautiful and populous city which is situated in the northwest of Brazil. This city reflects a reality which mostly characterizes this large country in South America. Salvador gathers European, African and Indian traditions within a frame of exuberant nature. The result is a variety of rural and urban landscapes and human realities. The northwest of Brazil has the 70% of its population descent from African slaves brought by the Portuguese, and a similar percentage of people live in the so sadly called favelas, or poor suburbs. Nearly 2 million people living in Salvador de Bahia suffer from extreme marginalization and cannot afford their basic necessities. Since colonial times, the Brazilian Catholic Church has been worried about these people who have always suffered as a consequence of slavery and poverty. Brazil considers that for centuries the arrival of Catholic missionaries and the economic help received from different parts of the world have been essential to relieve poverty and to try to prevent its causes.
Quanto è?
Aquilo é 5. Vou pesando na balança ali.
Io mi chiamo Suor Claudia Strada.
I am Sister Claudia Strada. My surname means street or way. This surname is like a symbol because of the way of my religious life has been exposed in the streets most of the time.
Esposta è stata realizzata per la strada.
Sometimes my way is marked by people from the streets, by children from the streets.
Proprio nel tentativo che questa strada
I want this way to be a bit less hard, with less difficulties to face, for me and for other people.
di sassi e di difficoltà. Ma comunque
Anyway, difficulties also form part of human reality, though.
Io ho incontrato Gesù nella sua strada che veniva
I found
incontro
Jesus
a
on
me.
his way to me.
Non certo con
He did not come to
fantasie,
me with
o
fantasy,
con,
superstition, or imagination.
superstizioni,
He came
o
to me with a deep feeling of needing him,
ma
with the wish to give him my
nel
life.
profondamente questo bisogno, questo desiderio di donazione.
Sister Claudia Strada is an Italian nun belonging to the congregation Missionary Sister of Jesus the Redeemer. She decided to come to Brazil when she was 58 years old. For her, it was another step on the way she started when she was very young, when she listened to the call from God to become a nun.
Allora io non sono stata mandata.
I was not sent. I was asked by people who were in need, by the church and by the bishop in Salvador.
Richiesta dalla Chiesa, dal vescovo di Salvador, per sentire una risposta di
I was tied to my vow of obedience, but I felt the desire to give a positive answer of availability.
A dei voti di obbedienza. Allora ho chiesto ai miei superiori.
Therefore, I asked the authorities for permission to answer this request once my period as superior would finish.
Rispondere a questa richiesta.
Claudia arrived in Salvador de Bahia to form part of a community belonging to her congregation. The congregation offer their service at Our Lady of Perpetual Succor parish. This parish has grown from 15 to 75,000 inhabitants. They came as an invasion, that is, they occupied lands illegally, and they do not have the basic necessary services on an urban settlement. The suburb is called Mata Escura, which means dark forest or thicket, because there was nothing but a forest there not long ago, thick vegetation remembered as a place where fugitive slaves used to hide during the 19th century. Following her congregation aims, Sister Claudia chose her destiny as a missionary, bearing in mind the places where you can find people in need, where you can find the poorest people. She worries about this reality, about the most painful aspects of society, abandonment, frustration, begging, abuse, and all those evils which are the real cause of human suffering.
E siamo lì, insieme a cercare.
We are here together, trying to compensate these people for their suffering, to help them stand up, to prepare their future so that they can, at last, enjoy the happiness of a resurrection to a human life.
La gioia della resurrezione di una vita umana.
A human life which will originate from a friendly environment and will be ready to receive evangelization.
Perché la parola di Dio,
because God's word is the basis, the essential reason of our religious reality and consecrated life. It is very important for us that human nature have a space for Him.
Che la natura umana apra il suo spazio.
As soon as Sister Strada came to Brazil, she wanted to start working in direct contact with people. So the parish priest asked her to take care of the most distant area of the suburb. It is an area where very poor families live. The land is very low. There she had to start from the very beginning. She started working in human promotion, organizing the community and their catechesis.
E mi sono sentita subito bene.
I soon felt at ease, a loving and a loved person. I still feel the same every time I meet them. Every time I meet the children, the adults, the teenagers. The fact is that I do not do much for them. They are the ones who have taught me a lot. I didn't come with the ambition of teaching, of doing anything for them. I came here to share their lives, to stay by them, to live their culture, and I had a moving welcome.
E io ho incontrato un'accoglienza meravigliosa. Non sapevo una parola di portoghese.
I did not speak Portuguese at all. I was an adventurer. I should have studied something before.
Chi invece giustamente è bene che si prepari.
The Catholic Church had already been doing an important work regarding assistance and human promotion in this suburb of Salvador de Bahia. The creation of the Acopamek Center, built in honor of John Paul II, our peacemaker, is a model project which could be extended thanks to a donation done by John Paul II himself when he visited us in 1991. He was very shocked when he heard about the squadrons who killed poor children in the streets. He left an important economic support to be used to help the most disadvantaged families in Brazil. Acopamek stands for Parish Community Association of Mata Escura and Calabetao. This project is based on a model of self-promotion of the community. It starts with basic teaching, and then it continues to the levels of work training courses. The aim is to get them inserted into the real labor market. In this way, it creates a true hope in them. They believe it is possible to recover their dignity as citizens capable of living on their own jobs and efforts. People who attend the center receive labor training according to the demands required for an ordinary position. At the same time, these workshops are economic micro-undertakings which support not only the people who attend the workshops, but also the workshops themselves. That is why the community becomes a resource generator itself. By offering training, the community can develop social works and evangelization projects. Even the teachers and the instructors have got their degrees at the same center. By this work done on education, human promotion, labor and religious training, the Catholic Church creates a concrete experience of family promotion. This valuable work gets people out of ignorance and gives hope and dignity back to them. In this way, the main causes of violence and poverty can be eliminated at once.
It is a great blessing to have Sister Claudia here in Mato Escuro. Since her arrival, she has been working passionately, and she has been devoted to a life of service, day and night. She is a very reserved person. She doesn't want to attract people's attention, but she is always present, ready to help. She has a strong sensitivity to people's suffering. Through her testimony of life, we can see that she is a dedicated person. She is always showing her happiness. She is like a mother for her people.
Sister Claudia is a simple person who is always ready to help from the most humble position. However, her potential is much greater. She came here when she was 58 years old. She brought with herself a 40 years experience as a nun. Moreover, she had been a superior in her community. When she was in Italy, she studied to become a surgeon. She studied at night. She eventually became a doctor and a dentist. That is why her scope of service is really wide and her help is really necessary. Her professional life is backed by her human formation. Both Sister Claudia and Father Miguel have always found support from Catholic people from other countries, especially to obtain the basic resources to start their projects. The international founding organization, Aid to the Church in Need, cares for missionaries all over the world, showing a special concern to support their project.
Já tive duas vezes a oportunidade de visitar a paróquia.
I have already visited Sister Claudia twice. I was absolutely impressed when I went there. I could see the unwavering faith she has in the divine providence. She shows a deep love for Jesus, and she has a selfless devotion to evangelization. Sister Claudia really looks like the mother of her community and treats everyone with great love and care, especially children.
Ela e com ela inúmeras outras irmãs inseridas no meio popular.
There are many sisters in the town accompanying her, and together they represent a church that does not wait for their people to come. They are always present in the town, willing to help those who most need them. That is why Sister Claudia and many other sisters deserve staunch support from our organization and our benefactors, either by means of prayer or material help.
As a missionary nun, Sister Claudia has a lot to offer and a lot to teach. However, her major gift is her own self, her decision to love and to work for others without a break. She does not care about her age, even when it limits her activities. She hopes that those people, victims of a degrading social context, will believe in themselves and discover their gifts granted by God. She hopes that they will recover their joy of life. In this way, despite having been marked by material and spiritual suffering, the inhabitants of Mato Escuro will not be drawn by violence or drugs, but by a productive life.
Agora você é o produtor Jesus Cristo. Isso aqui.
Esse é um aluno da tarde, que está na escola, já que é um aluno estudo.
This work has unexpected scopes. For example, there are young people working in the manufacture of tiles in Europe. They were educated and trained by a Catholic organization in an unknown favela in Salvador.
Certo, ci sono momenti in cui arriva un po' il disanimo.
Sometimes, when I see so much misery, so much poverty, and lack of necessities, I start feeling discouraged and empty. So I wonder, what am I doing here? How can I channel my vocation? What can I do to serve better? It's just a drop in the middle of the ocean. But then, I think that if my drop wasn't there, the ocean will lack a drop, my drop. Then I continue searching and thinking about what I have achieved in 9 years.
Uno sviluppo che in realtà in 9 anni che sono qui, oltre a quello che vedo fatto e realizzato dagli altri.
If I see beyond, I can see what I have done, what I am still doing, and that there are other sisters committed here in Salvador. There have been many concrete achievements in different aspects, human, cultural, creative and affective.
Affettivo, concreto, molto avanzante. Avanzato e avanzante.
All this is very enriching and enriched, and we hope that the future will be better. Yes, better for me too. I am 65. No, 67. I am 67 years old, and better for young people who have a long way to walk.
Ancora giovane, lunga da fare.
Levantai-vos, ó Senhor, contra o malvado. Dos ímpios salvai-me, Senhor. Ó Senhor, ouvi a minha justa causa. Escutai-me e atendei o meu clamor.
Sister Claudia and other 2 nuns of her congregation form part of this community. They also serve in important areas of the parish. Sister Rafaela is devoted to take care of and teach young women, especially the ones who are homeless. She shows great interest in them. She helps them to have an education which would strengthen their dignity. She has a home where they spend most of the day. She works as if she were a mother, educates and guides them in this stage of their lives. Besides, by meeting them and chatting with them in a frank and realistic way, Rafaela tries to help them reflect upon the negative values which affect their lives, and she invites them to adopt the values stated by the Gospel. She's especially interested in helping young people living in the poorest areas. She helps them to find a reason to have hope and reach a worthy human life. Sister Adela runs Centro Nueva Simiente, a nursery school. There she receives children whose parents cannot take care of them because of their work timetables. Thus, they are not in the streets, and they are offered a possibility of reinforcing their school education and their feeding.
É muito importante a presença das religiosas aqui na nossa paróquia.
It is very important to us to rely on the nuns' presence here, in our parish, in our community, because these religious women have a very special vocation and a characteristic way of reaching and being close to the poorest families. This is because they reach the families from the streets, and not anyone can reach these places. Not anyone can enter their homes. But nuns are dearly beloved people. They have a special vocation and a totally different dignity. They are welcome and families receive them as if they were their mothers. Not everyone finds it easy to live in a chauvinistic society such as ours. It is easier for a nun than for a priest to reach these places. Their presence encourages women, and women are a means to reach children and young people. In this way, the work done with the families proves to be less difficult.
Trazer a criança, trazer o jovem e fazer também este trabalho junto à família.
As a fundamental part in the project for the parish, Father Miguel found it essential to build a pastoral centre. They needed a place to provide human, social and pastoral formation, and especially to offer the community the opportunity to meet and organise spiritual retreats. There was only a thicket and decaying walls here. However, the centre, inserted in the heart of the favela, could accomplish its objectives.
La popolazione di qui ha un contributo importantissimo.
The most important contribution is the one made by the people from the town. They collaborate and offer their support with great care and love towards their neighbours.
Stanno accogliendo le persone. Credo che questo sia il contributo più
I think this is the most important contribution. The contribution made by humble people, by people in need, those who live in the poorest region. But it is necessary to have a reliable building.
Dare un aspetto, una costruzione adeguata.
The pastoral centre in Mata Escura is a place where people who live under needy conditions can come and find a suitable place for their spiritual growth. These people usually find it hard to go to other places, which are generally distant, strange and expensive for them. That is why this building was the result of a true communion among nations. Father Miguel received the collaboration from parishes from Belgium. Sister Claudia organised the contribution made by the group of Italian young people called A Forza da Partilha, the strength of sharing. The final stage could be accomplished thanks to the international founding organisation, Aid to the Church in Need.
Quando a irmã Cláudia nos mandou o pedido,
When Sister Claudia sent us her request, we had already organized local efforts to build that retreat house. Then, our organization answered her request immediately, because we are convinced that lay people's training is an absolutely necessary tool for the Catholic Church.
Tem papel extremamente importante na Igreja Católica. A igreja não é somente alguns padres ou religiosos.
The Church does not only involve priests and nuns. The Church is the communion of every faithful person. And now that the house has been built, the communities of this parish have a place to pray, to reflect, to celebrate, and to plan all their pastoral activities. Here we can observe that a piece of our Lord's kingdom has emerged from the darkness of the favela.
Aqui no meio da favela surgiu agora pedaço do reino de Deus.
Sister Claudia has chosen to lead her life near poverty, and as a missionary she chose to share the reality of human suffering. However, her choice does not imply to be tied to pain, but to live as Jesus, who after going through the sacrifice of the cross, gave place to the resurrection. Her everyday mission is an adventure journey which starts in difficulties and ends in a new life. Sister Claudia walks all the places her missionary life presents to her because she knows how much she needs Jesus' redemption. Her only wish is to offer all her being so that other people can revive from human, moral and spiritual poverty.
Io sono veramente molto felice, ringrazio Dio.
I feel really happy and I thank God for this great opportunity. I am very grateful for my parents because they set an example for me, and I thank all the people who have always loved me.
Un mondo benefico e benevolente.
I feel we live in a providential and generous world. I love this world, despite difficulties and sufferings. And I love the world, which people call a world of evil and a world of bad people.
I cattiverie, ma il Cristo è venuto per I malati e non per I sani.
Christ came for the sick, not for the healthy. He came for sinners, not for the saints. I hope to be, at least, a tiny answer to his huge wish. And that is why, every morning, while I am walking the streets of Salvador to visit the groups who still need me, I repeat the same humble prayer. Everything is for you, my Lord, my immense love. What I do, what I say, what I suffer, what I think. Every time I breathe, my Lord, I try to give you my soul and consecrate my heart to you.
Donarti l'anima e consacrarti il cuore.
This is my wish, and this is the reason why I'm very grateful to God.